So what we want to do is we want to play exactly what Kyrie Irving had to say to ESPN's Malika Andrews, and then we're going to come back and react to his comments. Take a listen to what Kyrie Irving had to say here.
We're going to discuss this game, but first, I want to go back out to Dallas to bring in Kyrie Irving into the conversation. Hey, Kyrie, thank you so much for spending a little bit of time with us. We were just talking before you came on. You're a remarkable 14-0 in these closeout scenarios. That's the best mark without a loss in the NBA. What is it about these games that just brings out this from you?
I think it's just the preparation and it's the moment. You just get to that point where you have the opportunity to close out a team. You want to take full advantage of it. I'm doing my best not to be so emotional right now because it's just this was probably the hardest series that I've ever had to go into, and it felt like it, and all the pain and all the sacrifices were worth it. So when you get that vindication and you can close out a team, #1 team in the Western Conference, it feels good. But I wouldn't be here without all the great teammates I've had throughout my career, and big shout out to them. And this is just our moment, and I think it's time we enjoy it.
So you heard what Kyrie Irving had to say. So when they initially put the post on Instagram, I want to go to that post. So you saw what Kyrie, I'm doing my best not to be so emotional right now because it's probably the hardest series I've ever had to go into. So I want to get to some of the comments because LeBron fans are very funny. Let's get into some of them here. One person said, what makes this the hardest what makes this the hardest series ever? Another person said, Cavs Kyrie was so OP. Another person said, laughing my ass off. This is not the hardest series you've ever been in. This might be one of the hardest series you've ever been to, but your hardest series was the 73-9 Warriors in 2007 versus the Golden State Warriors. Laughing my ass off, casual. Another person said, Kyrie, you forget about the 73-9 Warriors being down 3-1, laughing, but he was actually crying. And then some other people said Kyrie's better than Curry. And then some other people kept on saying that. But there were a bunch of basically LeBron fans who were pretty upset with Kyrie Irving for saying that, right? Now, why would LeBron fans be upset with Kyrie for saying that? The answer is very simple. Because one of the go-to arguments for LeBron fans, one of them is, he came back from a 73-9 team being down 3-1. So that was the most impressive thing that we had ever seen an NBA player do. So when you have a player like Kyrie, who was on that team, who was part of that run, who hit that very big shot, who was putting up 40-point games in that series, for him to come out and say, no, this Oklahoma City Thunder series was the hardest series he's ever been to, LeBron fans hear that and they're like, yo, what are you talking about? The series you played against the Warriors is the hardest series you've ever been a part of. And they're like, bro, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to diminish the legacy of the Kang and all? That's what they would feel. And I can understand them being upset because they're like, what you mean by that, right? Listen, Kyrie is speaking from his perspective, meaning what he feels is the toughest. Now, what do I think is the toughest? I would probably go with the one against the what do you call it? The Warriors. And the reason I would say that is because of the stakes, right? It's because of the stakes. Now, some people are talking about 2017 being the hardest one ever because of how lopsided it looked. But here's something that a lot of people don't tell you. If you look at the big three for both teams, meaning the top guys, the top scorers, you had LeBron James, you had Kevin Love, you had Kyrie Irving versus Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant. Do you know that the Cleveland Cavaliers big three actually outscored the Warriors big three throughout that series? Their big three, meaning they average more points than them. I think they average more rebounds than them as well. It's a shocking thing, but it's true. Kevin Love, LeBron James, and Kyrie Irving actually average more points and I think rebounds than Kevin Durant, Stephen Curry, and Klay Thompson.